DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. We are joined now by Wayne Cook, UCLA Bruins sideline reporter. Wayne, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. We love to do the spring football tour, assess the opponents for our local team, how things are local teams, and see how things are trending after spring ball. And Utah's opener is at UCLA in the Rose Bowl. And, man, UCLA, how about that? UCLA and Tennessee trading quarterbacks. How did that go over?
This college football now. I mean, it's like what do we really know anyway? I mean, the team's changed so much. There's so many players. But as usual, you guys, I'm excited. UCLA tried to fix the offensive line. We lost our quarterback, so bringing in the best one in the portal and Nico Iamaleava is a big deal. I hadn't seen enough of Joe Aguilar to tell you what they're going to get. I mean, I watched him at App State when he was at UCLA. I don't know what Tennessee's going to get, but I'm going to go ahead and argue that UCLA got the best end of that one. Nico, whether you believe all the stuff that goes on in the media, college football players can be mercenaries now. Doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they're taking advantage of the situation. I mean, I don't hear a whole bunch of people complaining about Carson Beck leaving Georgia to go get whatever it was, $4 million plus. And by the way, think of all the great quarterbacks we've watched you guys over the last handful of years. Almost all of them have been transfers. So it is the world we live in. I'm actually hopeful at some point in time we have some rules for this whole thing called college football. But for now, it is what it is, and I think UCLA is taking advantage of it and doing a really good job of bringing in the right type of people to win some more games.
So you look at their offense, I mean, they needed an infusion. They were the worst rushing team in the Big Ten at only 86.5 yards. Their leading rusher has transferred to SMU, and he was, I think, their second best receiver. What's his name? TJ Harden. And then the tight end got drafted, and he was their leading, Montalvo, I think it is. Was their leading receiver, and he's gone to the NFL. But, as you said, the transfers, out with Harden, in with Thomas from Cal. Receivers, Mikey Matthews has got a little Utah experience. And then they got a kid, Wilson, I think from, Arkansas State?
Arkansas.
Okay. And then Gilmer showed a little bit of promise as a freshman last year, and you expect him to get better. So what do you think of the offense overall with the new quarterback?
It starts up front. I mean, I like the skill guys. Like I think Mikey Matthews is going to be really good. I don't know if you guys have seen Thomas from Cal play. He was their leading – I mean, everybody talking about Jay Nott, and they should because Jay Nott's really good.
Right.
Man, Thomas averaged over 6 yards a carry, and it's not like Cal's a juggernaut. So he's really, really good. I'm excited about him. We brought in someone from Utah, Anthony Woods, who's had a really good spring at running back. So, TJ, we miss him. He's great, but I think we went out and found a deeper backfield. Jalen Berger's the guy we brought in last year. That I think now he's used to the system. He's used to the program. He was a Michigan State transfer, so I'm not worried about running back. Tight end, we're still a little thin. Tight end, we just brought in a transfer from Michigan, I believe. But we're a little thin there still. It would be interesting to see if we can still find a way to get another player or two because there's still a ton of players out there. But it's the offensive line that has been revamped. The coaching staff has been revamped, and that's what I think the key is, guys. Eric Bieniemy, I love the guy, but it didn't work. We had one of the worst offenses that can be, and UCLA's defense has been extraordinary the last couple of years. We've had unbelievable. We had 4 players drafted from our defense this year, and the year before we had the first defensive player in the draft and Latu taken, and we can't win more games because we were scoring 16 or 17 points a game last year. That's horrible. So the offense didn't work. It was too complicated. The play calls were way too long. Tino Sinceri is my favorite acquisition. I know it's not a transfer portal thing, but he comes over from Indiana, and where they did great things with Curtis Rourke last year, and we saw what they did. Indiana went from one of the worst programs ever to being a playoff team. And Tino Sinceri is smart. He's a quarterback coach. He's doing a heck of a job, and his energy is infectious. You can tell he knows what he's talking about, and we're going to run a college offense, not a pro offense, a college offense. So I'm as excited about that as anything.
The cool thing about having no rules is you can rebuild groups on the fly in a way you didn't used to be able to.
Yeah.
The top 2 tacklers last year were linebackers, and they're both off to the NFL. So how have they rebuilt the linebacking core? Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but Kyle Whittingham might like to run the football, and he might like new, green, inexperienced linebackers missing tackles and running the wrong way.
I'm not sure how I felt about it. Utah's back on the schedule. I thought we got rid of those guys. No, I'm kidding. Actually, I've loved the kind of modern games with Utah. I'm just glad this one's at the Rose Bowl this year. Going there is a lot tougher. But you know what's funny is our linebacking core. This staff has done a pretty incredible job. Like the first day I went out to spring practice, I'm like, how are the linebackers doing? Because we lost Kane, we lost Femi, we lost Carson Schlesinger. All those guys got drafted, and Carson made a million tackles last year. How do you replace that? And then you find out, I walk out to practice and I go, why is John Vaughn still here? And it's because his COVID year affected him in baseball. Like he lost a year, so he graduated, but he still had another year of football. So he's fully, I was teasing him the other day at the spring game. He's about 27 years old by now. But he's always been a good player, but he was playing 2 sports. So he'll settle in and be a full-time football player. This is the first spring practice he's ever done in his whole career. And then we've got guys like Woods and Palat. We brought in some really good transfers. So when I looked out at our linebacking core, I was like, they're pretty solid. We got some good players up front. We lost Jay Tawia, who was a great defensive tackle for us, but we get Gary Smith back. We have Keanu Williams coming back, and the edge was where Femi turned into we already had a weakness off the edge last year, and we moved Femi from inside to outside, and he ended up getting drafted, I believe, in the 2nd or 3rd round. I forget where he went, but he ended up being a great pass rusher for us. We lost him, so that's a question mark. I'm not sure how we're going to look. We brought in a player from Michigan and Michigan State in the last week or so in the portal as edge rushers, but I still think that's a position of need for UCLA. So the edge is probably the weakness.
You mentioned Sinceri coming over from Indiana. By my count, that'd be 1. You got a new running back coach. Stewart used to coach at BYU. A D-line coach, a receivers coach, a safeties coach, a secondary coach, an O-line coach.
Yep.
That's like 6, 7 coaches. That's dramatic change from one season to another. You usually see maybe 2 or 3, but not this many. Yeah. Could you explain the reasons why and why Deshaun Foster thought it was the way to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Chip Kelly left at the wrong time. He left late in the cycle. We hired Deshaun Foster, and he really had to put a staff together that probably wasn't all his first choice. And this year, it's funny, like the kind of way that Coach Foster walks around the practice field, I think he feels really, really comfortable. He went out and hired a ton of people that he has connections to from his playing days in the NFL. And some of those people, like when he's known Tino Sinceri for a long time, and Tino had worked with Coach Quan, who's our offensive line coach, when they were both at Alabama. And so there's connections with this entire staff, and they all know each other. And I just think the comfort level's there. So the answer to that question is I think that it's hard to put a staff together late in the cycle because a lot of the good coaches are already gone. And Deshaun Foster, I think, really had an opportunity to put together the staff he really wanted this year, and it's paid off. Don't forget, we brought in Dimitri Martin, Coach Meat.
I love Coach Meat, by the way. That's a great name.
No, it's incredible, and he's come in, and I'm telling you, man, we have more DBs wanting to come to UCLA. I'm like, we keep adding guys. We added a guy from Oregon that's a track superstar speed guy that was a huge recruit a few years ago. And I'm like, we've got so many DBs. I don't know how they're all going to have playing time, but that's the kind of coach he is. So it's been a really good hiring cycle, and I think Coach Foster is very happy with the staff he has.
I've seen the Rose Bowl sold out. I've seen the Rose Bowl with what looks like 15,000 people rattling around in it and everything in between. How are the fans reacting to all of this, and what is the crowd like? Utah fans tend to like to go down to L.A. Are they going to be half the crowd?
So I made this comment the other day to somebody, and it's hard to even think about this, but in the almost 40 years, like 39 years since we last won a Rose Bowl at UCLA. We've only won 2 conference championships. I was a part of one of them, and Cade McNown was the other one. And the last one was in 1998. So it's been pushing 40 years since we've really won anything. That's stupid. UCLA is too good of a school. We have too much of a tradition. People forget that we're still a top 20 all-time AP football program. If you look at it, I think we're like 18. We've got a good football tradition. It just feels like we have a few good seasons here and there, and then we just, even with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, we had a 10-win season, but we should have won a championship that year. That year we beat Utah, a good Utah team, and a Washington team in the Rose Bowl back-to-back, but we lost Arizona. That's the kind of cred we have to stop. The fan base, I'm not going to lie, every time I talk optimistically, they look at me like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm usually pretty sure, but we got to find a way to win the few games that we lose that we shouldn't. I think that's the difference between good programs and bad programs. The difference between 8 and 10 wins or 9 and 11 wins. You got to win those games, and a lot of times it's going to come down to you have a quarterback, if you're in a game, that can win you those games. And I think UCLA is hopeful that Nico Iamaleava can be that guy. I mean, listen, he led Tennessee as a redshirt freshman to a 10-win season and to a playoff berth. I mean, if you can do that as a young quarterback, you're only going to get better. So that's exciting to me. So for our fan base, we've got an elite quarterback, a 5-star guy that everybody would have loved to have had out of high school. It's the world we live in with players transferring and everybody wanting more money and all that stuff. But I met him the other day. Seemed like a great guy to me. He's huge, by the way. I'm 6'4", and I was looking up at him. He's 6'6". He's a big hands, strong, athletic, good feet. So buy your season tickets. Everybody likes to watch a good quarterback. You're going to see one.
I used to be a sports writer for the South Bay Daily Breeze back when you were playing, and I remember you from high school and all that stuff. So I've followed your career, and I know you've been doing this for the Bruins. And the only thing I didn't like about you, Wayne, I'm an ASU grad, and you grew up an Arizona fan. I know your father played there, but that has bothered me all this time. I think you need to drop that. I mean, you need to disavow it, at least publicly. So here's your chance. Tell me how much you hate the U of A.
You know what's so sad is my guy. I played with the head coach. I mean, he's my buddy. I went to frat parties with Brendan. Frat parties. I mean, I can't do it, man. I want to, but it's just in my blood. I'm supposed to dislike ASU. I mean, I get excited that your quarterback, Jaden Daniels, is going to go on to be the greatest ever. I get excited that he transferred away from you guys. So I apologize.
But we've got Kenny Dillingham and all as well.
You know what? He is, by the way, I will say this. My buddy, Matt Stevens, who I broadcast with, he told me before that hire was made, because he's got some great friends that spent a lot of money on that ASU program, and the rumor was circulating that Kenny Dillingham was going to be the guy.
Yeah, it was.
What? And I'm joking a little bit with you right now. That season last year, Cam Scadaboo, if you didn't like watching him play, you're an idiot. He is what football should be, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the way most of us, we like football because of players like that guy. So Dillingham is amazing, and I'm not gonna, no one's listening right now, but I'm rooting for the guy. I want him to be ultra successful, and I don't want big money to come steal him away. I want him to stay there for a long time.
No, I'm throwing in $100 a year to keep him, and I'm getting all my Sun Devil alum to try to do that. You know how they built that Tempe Town Lake there just behind the stadium? I'm sure you've seen it. Well, I got family members, and they swear that they've seen Kenny Dillingham walk on Tempe Town Lake.
Oh my God, you have an amazing quarterback coming back too. I'm telling you. He's built something, and just see if it's sustainable. That's the hard part in the modern era of all this stuff, because all of your players, whether they love you or not, all of their people behind the scenes are going, you had a really good year last year, and since everybody can be a free agent every single year, it's hard for players to not go, I'm going to test the waters and see how much money I'm worth, especially if you had a great year the year before. It's an incredible world. Kenny Dillingham seems like he could sell anything to anybody. so he'll probably convince people to stay. But hey, think about this for a second, you guys. We have a backup quarterback in Luke Duncan. We lost one of ours, Martin, to Maryland, who's fighting for a starting job right now. You have to make sure you recruit the heck out of a kid that might end up being your backup, especially if he's a really good player, because people are going to want him. They're going to find ways to offer him money. So you have to go out and find your backups opportunities to make, and I refuse to call it NIL, but to make money from whoever's willing to give it to them. And you have to do that with sometimes your backups too, because you don't want to be stuck with only one quarterback that can actually play, because we all know those guys get hurt all the time.
Yeah, we saw it with the Utes last year.
That's right.
Well, and the year before. But.
In the last couple of years.
No, they won 8 games the year before.
They did. They had a backup who could win games. Well, Wayne, we appreciate it. Thanks for the time. Thanks for putting up with the Sun Devil next to me. And we will talk to you again when we get closer to the season and closer to the season opener. All right?
All right, guys. Man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Wayne Cook, UCLA Bruins sideline reporter. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Matt Larkin, Daily Face-Off senior writer and managing editor, is going to join us at 9:30. Wild night, Game 7 in the NHL playoffs. We'll get to that coming up. DJ and PK, your chance to win Minky Couture on the way, too. Stay with us.